If you guys follow me for a while, you would know that I love Vaporwave. I've been part of the community for the past 3 years, and I've been seeing the genre grow and expand to the mainstream. For the longest time, I've wanted to talk about the music scene without sounding too pretentious, and to also give newcomers some insight with the genre. This will be a series of bite-sized videos that will help me pump out content more frequently while I do workshopping for Fake It Till You Make It Art School and other projects being worked on. It will be dealing with a brief history of the subgenre, some notable albums, and my opinions surrounding said album and subgenres. A playlist will be made so you can view the entire series in chronological order. The following subgenres of Vaporwave covered will include Proto-Vaporwave, Mall Soft, Post Internet, Broken Transmission, Vapor Noise, Hard Vapor, Sea Haze, Signal Wave, Slush Wave, Synth Wave, Future Funk, Lo-Fi Hip Hop, and Vapor Trap. You may have noticed I didn't put in Echo Jams and Utopian Virtual, and that's because I wanted to talk about both genres without the confusion, so I lumped them together as Proto-Vaporwave. With that out of the way, we will now discuss the birth of Vaporwave. Let's go all the way back to July 19th, 2009. A video released by Sunset Core shows a clip of a rainbow road moving in a city set to a slowed and chopped version of The Lady in Red by Chris de Burgh. The lyric, "Nobody Here," repeats over and over. The best way I can describe listening to this song is like one of those optical illusions that you see on the internet. You know, one of those optical illusions that has you staring at a moving hypno circle and then you look at the wall and it's warping and twisting and all that. That's what the song sounds like. Then comes Daniel Lopatin's breakthrough album Echo Jams Volume 1. Released on August 8, 2010 under the alias Chuck Person, Echo Jams would create one prominent staple for the genre. The album utilizes samples from songs in the 80s and 90s, chops them, loops it, adds echoes, no pun intended, and changes the pitch of the song. This is an album that I usually play as background noise when I want to relax and possibly smoke too. Not that I know anything about smoking marijuana. I only read a couple of articles about it. While I don't have much of an opinion on the album, I can at least appreciate what it brought to the table. 2011 would see the release of James Ferraro's Far Side Virtual. It has a very corporate but soulless feel to it. What helps amplify the feeling is the fact that the album was made entirely with GarageBand, a music app that comes pre-installed with all Apple computers. I feel like I would be listening to this album while at Starbucks, ordering my pink drink like the basic bitch that I am, just being stuck with all the advertising and merchandise that's being shoved in my face when I'm trying to run errands. We're all guilty of doing this. We make a list of things that we need, and then we go out and buy those things, plus a few more things, because it was buy one get one, and I just couldn't resist myself, damn it. Wait, what were we talking about again? Oh, right, Far Side Virtual. While it isn't my favorite album, I do find myself coming back to it. The corporate feeling of the album just makes me feel like a businessman who's working at Wall Street and is about ready to make the best deal of his life. Yeah, I know, capitalism bad, rah rah, little anarchist, rah rah, you know, down with the state, down with capitalism, rah rah, but I like this album, damn it. What happens when Echo Jams Volume 1 and Far Side Virtual decide to have sex and make a baby? You wind up with the legendary, Macintosh Plus's Floral Shop. This seems to be everyone's first Vaporwave album, and it was mine as well. Granted, it didn't make me fall in love with the genre. Aside from that, Macintosh mixes both styles from Lopatin and Ferraro and makes an eerie but calming mashup of 80s nostalgia combined with the futility of late-stage capitalism. A style that would catch on real quick with the Vaporwave scene. One unique thing she threw in is that all the songs are written in Japanese characters. Although it is unknown why, some people have speculated that it was done to keep the Vaporwave movement underground. I can see why Floral Shop is so beloved by the community. The samples aren't as chopped up like Lopatin's, and it doesn't feel robotic and cold like Ferraro. It's a nice album to have as background noise or to smoke a fat one too. However, that's all the album does for me. And besides, the only reason people still come back to Floral Shop is because of that one song that became a meme. You know the one. The samples don't do much aside from some chopping and reverb, but I can't blame the album for that. Vaporwave was born through this album and it was an experiment. Now, in the current year, we have seen how the limits of Vaporwave have been pushed. While I do admire how influential the album is, I'm not going to be writing a video essay anytime soon talking about how deep and poetic it is. Another Proto-Vaporwave artist not discussed but played a role in the birth of Vaporwave is... Hang on a second, let me get Google Translate. Okay, we'll just call him Skeleton. Skeleton is another Vaporwave artist, but not many people seem to know him. This isn't surprising since the Vaporwave community is all about being anonymous, most likely done to cover themselves should legal action be thrown against them. However, no one I talk to knows about him. His albums utilize the current trends of Vaporwave at the time to make something strange and spooky. On top of that, Vectroid cited holograms as a prime example of chop and screw synonymous with the genre. Vectroid even cited Skeleton as an influence on her music, so in some strange kind of way, without Skeleton, we wouldn't have had Floral Shop. I definitely give the album's holograms and Skeleton.zip a listen if you can. If you want a more modern take of Proto-Vaporwave, look no further than Death Dynamic Shroud's I'll Try Living Like This. If there was a top 10 list for my favorite Vaporwave albums, this would be at number 1. As a word of caution, this album is extremely experimental and it may be too much for some people to handle. Pat Chennington best described the album as this. Imagine someone fixing something that is broken and then destroying it again to see what it sounds like. That's really the best way to describe it. It's a chaotic mess, but it's a beautiful chaotic mess. There's something alluring about it that I can't really describe. Maybe it's because of the range of emotions the albums go through to the unpredictability of the entire album. You don't know what you're expecting, but you can't help but listen to more because you're curious. Proto-Vaporwave comes with a tough recommendation for new listeners. If you are interested in what came before Vaporwave and how it evolved, I can't recommend it enough. However, one should steer clear from it until they've had their feet wet on Vaporwave, especially in the case of I'll Try Living Like This. That album is extremely experimental and it already comes with a tough recommendation for a select few.